Robert back here. Hope y'all can hear me over that mil-spec back there. I'm just running that for a little heat tonight. I've been in my shop all night on my night off. Not a bad night outside, but it's going on 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning now, I guess, and it's starting to cool down a little bit. Thought I'd light that for some heat. Anyway, got this vintage M1950 stove here. If y'all want to take a look at it, follow along. Most common things I've seen go wrong with these lanterns is the pip inside of here will get hard and the fuel will push back up through the pump, and that's the most common. They say that there is an O-ring or some kind of a seal in that valve that if it goes bad that it won't shut off. Personally, I haven't had that. I've went through 3 or 4 of these, replaced the pips and springs in these and made them work again, but I've never had to tear one completely down to get into that seal, and I don't have that seal, I don't think. It's possible I do, but hopefully all we'll have to do is put the spring and pip in here. Maybe not even the spring, just the pip, and old pump leather for sure. I mean, there's no resistance. I mean, that's just the common stuff. Okay, this is Rogers Akron Ohio. It's a 1966 model. Like I said, I'm not going to try to tear this completely down. Hopefully I won't have to take that valve out. Hopefully it's just going to be a pump rebuild. Get in my M1950 part drawer. Got fuel cap seals. Pump leather and new pips, a couple of packs of those, got another complete pump, some new springs, and some of the mesh to go inside the generator. Well, I called it a generator, but I think actually they call that a vaporizer in these stoves for some reason. But that's the new mesh you can put in them if you have to do that. If it's all varnished and gummed up, just put the new mesh in it. I'm just going to unscrew the pump. Now, these pumps have a storage compartment. Haven't opened this one yet. Let's take a look. See a pump leather. Yeah. Pump leather still good. There's a graphite gasket for the valve. It's split open, but it's still soft and pliable, so you could probably compress that and make it work if you had to. Push it up against the old one, leave them both in there, and just press it in there. I've done that before. Okay, there's a new fuel cap seal. Seems to be still in good shape. There's the spring and pip. Generally these are hard as a rock. That one still seems to be soft. I'm very surprised. And a new vaporizer. So it's got all the goodies in it. Tickled with that. And these things usually have a little storage container back here, and they usually also have a new vaporizer stored away right there, but this one doesn't have that. And they will have a wrench that lays down across there. I don't have the wrench either. Okay, let's go ahead and get some oil on this pump leather. It's still soft. So there's that oil in there. Nope. Right there. Split wide open. So we're going to have to go ahead and change that. Probably should have let that oil soak a little longer, but it was soft, so I don't think it made a difference. I think it would have split anyway. Actually, it looks like it might be a cut instead of a split. So it's not trying to crack anywhere else. It doesn't seem to be dry rotted. Yeah, I think that's just a... yeah, it definitely looks like a cut. Go ahead and replace that. Okay, before we take that other one off, let's go ahead and get some oil in this one. Let that be soaking while we're pulling that other gasket off, or other seal off our pump cup. Got that pump cup flipped around, stretch it back in shape. We'll leave it stretched like that for now. Let that oil soak into it with it stretched. We'll reform it before we put it back in the pump. And shoot a little extra oil on there. Let that soak. Okay, let's see if the original seal in the pump housing is still soft and pliable like the one inside was. I'll be lucky if it is. Alright, I think that's in good shape. I like to go ahead and put a little oil on those also. We may not have had to do nothing to this except oil that pump, change that pump leather. I think my mil spec's running low on fuel. It's getting a little mist to it now and then, a little pop. Anyway, let's take a look at this pip in here. From the end of the pump, we'll use a 5/16 turn out that once you look at that, that don't even have the pump and spring in it. So good thing we had that spare. Okay, if the old spring had been in there, it would have been compressed, and I would have given a little stretch some life back into it. But this one has not been compressed; it's been stored uncompressed, so it should be in good shape. Okay, I went ahead and ran a little wire brush in there and shot some carburetor cleaner through it just to be on the safe side, make sure there's no grit. If I'm not mistaken, pip turns that direction. And it will seal against that little beveled piece in there. Okay, I went ahead and put all my spare parts back in there. I put the new pump leather and a new pip in there for spare. So now we can flip that back around. Work that leather right back down into that pump. There we go. Now it's got a little resistance to it. Yep, old mil spec definitely running out of fuel on me. I didn't have much in it. I just put enough in it just to give it a good test. I've ran it a couple times since then, so it's done pretty good. They'll pop and crack like that because they don't have a burner screen. Okay, I forgot to put my cap back on here. Spring. Now the cap. Now we can put this back in here. Like I said, I got all my spare parts back in there. I put the new pump leather gasket extra and the new pip. And the seal's all in there. Put that pump back in now. Okay, that's a good sign. I got it pressurized and the pump is staying down. If that pip was bad, that spring didn't have enough pressure on it, it would raise back up like this, push itself back out. But she's staying put, and as long as you stay and put, it's good. If it starts raising back up, you know you've lost seal, and eventually the fuel will start coming back up with the air, and that can get nasty. Don't ask me how I know. Okay, the mil spec's just about gone. Let that cool down, and I'll put some more fuel in it. Get some heat going back in here. Okay, when they light these stoves in the field, camera's not going to show it. Can't see it in there. You can see the bottom side here. But these have a priming cup. In the field, they pump this up, put it under pressure, open the valve, and let the fuel run back down inside that cup. Fill that cup up. Turn the valve back off, light it, and the fuel will burn out of that cup and heat up your vaporizer. But I mean, you get a big fireball when you do that, and sit and smoke. And so myself, I like to fill the priming bowl full of denatured alcohol. A lot cleaner burn, a lot cleaner warm up. So that's the way I do it. Didn't mention, but that priming cup has a fiberglass wick in it. Okay, I have a stock pot here, just in case something happens, this thing goes out of control, I can put that on there and smother it out. Or if that seal in that valve is bad, if it won't shut down, I can smother it out with the stock pot. See that alcohol burning now. It's got the red flame because that burner bowl and everything is really dirty. That's where the red comes from. But if you let that primer right there burn completely out before you try to light it, you shouldn't have no major fireball. It should go pretty smooth. Okay, priming seems to be slowing down a little bit. Just about burn out. I can hear it building pressure, so let's see what happens. Hopefully we'll let that burn just a few minutes and that red flame will turn a little blue. Okay, working like it should. Figured that flame would turn blue. It didn't, so that's probably the vaporizer is probably pretty nasty. I could either replace it or take it apart, and I like to take them apart and clean them instead of replacing them. And I think if I done that, I'd get a nice blue flame again. But as of now, that's all I'm doing to it. I mean, it burns. It's made for boiling water. That it'll do. Not much good for a simmer, but you seen the flame that thing puts out. How you like that? I turned it off, turned it back on. Got a perfect blue flame. Hey, things are self-healing, let me tell you. Can you hear me now? Man, that's some roaring going on there. Mule spec and the M1950. Roaring lantern and a roaring stove. Alright, if y'all can hear me, y'all know the routine. Like, share, subscribe. God bless.